Welcome to the Bare Metal Cybersystem Prepcast. This series helps you prepare for the exam with focused explanations and practical context. Security technologies are essential components of any modern information security program. They enable the implementation and enforcement of controls that protect the confidentiality, integrity, and availability of information systems. Tools play a critical role in automating monitoring tasks, reducing the burden of manual enforcement, and helping ensure that policies are applied consistently across environments. These technologies also improve auditability by generating logs, alerts, and performance data that support compliance and risk oversight. However, selecting and deploying tools is not just about technical capability. It must align with the organization's risk treatment strategies and business goals. Every tool that is introduced into the environment must serve a defined purpose within the program. It must reduce risk, increase efficiency, or enable visibility that supports strategic decisions. Technology decisions should not be reactive or based solely on vendor marketing. Instead, they should emerge from structured planning, rigorous evaluation, and clear alignment with security objectives. The first step in selecting a security tool is defining the requirements. This begins with identifying functional needs based on prior risk assessments and identified control gaps. If a control deficiency exists, the selected technology must help close that gap. Requirements must also reflect regulatory and compliance mandates. For example, a tool might need to support log retention for a certain number of years or be certified to a recognized standard. Performance and scalability are also critical. The tool must function under current workload demands and scale with the business. Integration capabilities should be considered early. Tools that cannot communicate with other systems or that create new silos are more likely to fail. Stakeholders from across IT, security, legal, and operations must be consulted during this phase. Documenting requirements in categories such as mandatory, preferred, and excluded features helps ensure consistency and avoid scope creep during evaluation. Security tools span many categories, each designed to address specific functions. Endpoint protection platforms, or EPP and EDR systems, protect devices such as laptops and servers from malware, unauthorized activity, and other threats. Security information and event management tools, or SIEMs, centralize log collection, perform correlation analysis, and issue alerts based on defined rules. Identity and access management systems enforce authentication, authorization, and identity governance. These tools support least privilege and help prevent credential misuse. Data loss prevention tools monitor data in motion and at rest, identifying and blocking unauthorized transfers or exposure. Vulnerability management systems scan for known weaknesses and help prioritize remediation based on severity and exposure. Each of these tools contributes to one or more control objectives and should be selected with clear understanding of the problem it is solving. Evaluating tools requires structured criteria. Effectiveness is always the top consideration. Will this tool help mitigate the specific risks identified in assessments? Compatibility is also essential. If the tool cannot integrate with existing infrastructure, its usefulness will be limited. Usability matters too. Tools that are hard to manage or have steep learning curves are more likely to be underused. Vendor characteristics must also be considered. Look at the vendor's reputation, financial stability, support offerings, and product roadmap. Will they continue to support and improve the product? Can they offer guidance during implementation and ongoing use? Cost is another factor, but rather than looking only at the initial purchase price, consider the total cost of ownership, including licenses, support contracts, implementation services, training, and internal resource time. For more cyber-related content and books, please check out cyberauthor.me. Also, there are other podcasts on cybersecurity and more at baremetalcyber.com. Once a preferred tool is selected, procurement and approval processes begin. Procurement should be synchronized with budgeting cycles and project planning. Delays in funding can result in postponed risk reduction. Internal approval workflows must be followed. These include reviews by IT architecture teams, security governance functions, and legal departments. These checks ensure the tool is safe, lawful, and aligned with enterprise standards. Contract terms should include performance guarantees, service-level agreements, and audit rights. Vendors must provide documentation on security certifications, compliance attestations, and data handling practices. Due diligence is critical. This includes vetting the vendor's financial health, ethical track record, and data privacy posture. Organizations are responsible for the tools they use, even when those tools are provided by third parties. Implementation must be carefully planned. Begin by defining scope, timelines, resource requirements, and communication protocols. Assign clear responsibilities to project managers, technical leads, and business stakeholders. Develop a phased rollout plan. This may include pilot testing, staged deployment, and fallback options. Identify integration points with existing tools and define what success looks like. Training must be prepared for both administrators and end users. Communication is also essential. Users must be informed about new tools, how they work, and what changes to expect. If a tool restricts certain activities or generates alerts, this must be explained ahead of time. Implementation plans must include testing criteria, contingency procedures, and feedback loops. This ensures smooth rollout and early correction of issues. Deployment introduces its own set of risks. Pre-deployment risk assessments and system impact analyses help identify issues before they occur. Rolling out in phases minimizes disruption and makes it easier to isolate failures. Always maintain a fallback plan. Rollback procedures must be defined and tested so that systems can be restored if deployment fails. Monitor deployment progress using metrics such as error rates, ticket volumes, and system performance. Collect real-time feedback from users and support teams. Communicate frequently with all stakeholders. Transparency during deployment builds trust and supports faster resolution of unexpected challenges. After implementation, verification is required. Confirm that the control objectives the tool was meant to support are being achieved. Validate configurations, detection rules, alert thresholds, and data retention settings. Tools must be tuned to minimize false positives and false negatives. Collect user feedback to identify usability issues or gaps in awareness. Document everything. Update architectural diagrams, process flowcharts, and policy documents to reflect the new tool. Post-deployment performance monitoring should begin immediately. Look for improvement opportunities and continue optimization. New tools must be actively managed. Deployment is not the end of the life cycle. Tools must also be integrated into the broader governance and risk management ecosystem. Map tool outputs to control metrics, risk indicators, and compliance requirements. If a tool supports vulnerability management, ensure that its findings flow into the risk register. SIEM alerts should trigger escalation workflows and incident response actions. Centralized dashboards improve visibility. GRC platforms allow correlation across tools and functions. Alerts should be aligned with operational workflows and linked to accountability structures. Governance committees and executive stakeholders must be able to access meaningful data from these tools. Align all tool metrics with the organization's risk appetite and program maturity. Tool data is also useful in board reporting. Use visualizations to explain how tool performance supports control health, compliance, and resilience. Show trends, remediation timelines, and improvements. When integrated into reporting structures, tools become enablers of governance rather than isolated technical assets. Finally, organizations must review and rationalize their tool portfolios. Tools should be evaluated periodically for continued relevance and performance. Technologies that are outdated, redundant, or underperforming should be retired in a controlled manner. This includes revoking access, backing up configurations, and updating documentation. Consider whether platform-based solutions can consolidate multiple functions. Unified tools can reduce cost, complexity, and fragmentation. Monitor industry developments to stay aware of emerging capabilities. New products may offer improved accuracy, automation, or integration. Technology roadmaps should be aligned with security strategy, risk profiles, and business growth plans. Managing a tool portfolio is not just procurement, it is a continuous exercise in optimization and governance alignment. Thanks for joining us for this episode of the Bare Metal CyberSysm Prepcast. For more episodes, tools, and study support, visit us at baremetalcyber.com.